This is May 3rd, and this is a channeling of beings from Arcturus, the star Arcturus, and the Arcturian collective. Here we go. And it is a pleasure to interact with another incarnation that is connected to our grand collective consciousness. We, from this perspective, are identifying as a singular being, but understand that is a paradoxical description of us because we are not singular beings. We are compilation of individuated consciousness that has amassed itself from a eighth density point of view, creating the experience of being one being, but we are essentially what you could simplify as the higher self perspective of billions of different incarnational beings expressing itself as one being. And this is just one of the beings in that sense that exists within this collective, within your star of Arcturus. That is a little bit about how we exist multidimensionally. We are operating from a point of view that you would consider to be above the oversoul in that sense. For many beings, we are, in that way, a guiding principle for oversoul consciousness. We are a placeholder for oversoul consciousness because oversoul consciousness is, again, simply a grand incarnational point of view that is extending itself into souls, that is extending itself into personalities. And we are operating above that point of view, so we are actually able to narrate some of the experiences that are occurring within the oversoul point of view, so that those of you on Earth are then able to much more easily connect to your other incarnation experiences, because we are able to actually see it and elevate your own vibration to such a point where you are then able to perceive it in your own lives. Now, let's begin with the understanding that your DNA is literally psychically connected to stars. Because understand, you can trace your other incarnational experiences to stars. Stars are gateway points that allow for you to access aspects of your own consciousness, and this is why you are drawn to certain stars. They are corresponding with different lifetimes your soul and oversoul is communicating to you. So when you are actually gazing up at the stars and you say, that is a beautiful sight, what a wonderful connection I'm feeling, that's actually a telepathic link you're experiencing between you and your other incarnations. The stars are the gateway point. And these stars are interfacing with your DNA technology, and that is triggering the memories within the physical body of these other incarnations. It's the DNA light communication network that is actually holding ancestral memory and other incarnational experiences, and it is epigenetically affected by its interfacing with different stars. The primary one being your sun, because it is, of course, the closest one to your world in a perfect distance, allowing for the flourishing of your physical lives. And when you connect with the sun, you are very easily able to interface and understand your human incarnations very, very, very well. But remember, many of you are unaware of exactly how many incarnations you're associated with. we want to hold space for a moment just for you to feel this. Because it's hard to intellectualize it, you must feel this. The sun connects you to many earth-based incarnations you are connected to. The stars that you feel drawn to are connecting you to hundreds, thousands of other incarnational experiences you have as multidimensional, higher density consciousness, as a star being, or as it's been more modernly termed on your Earth, a extraterrestrial. These stars are also connecting you to multi-universal existences. You have no idea in your typical physical awareness of your multidimensional nature, because it would actually be so distracting from your reality you wouldn't be able to even fulfill your role on Earth because of the amount of data that would be bombarding you. But that's how big you actually are. You're massive. We're not calling you fat, but we are saying you are an insanely large being. And we are operating from the point of view that allows for us to actually narrate that quality of being. So we are able to, from this point of view, see the different connections that oversoul consciousness within this particular universe connected to this particular source has. But we also are aware of other sources and other universal creations from other sources that are being calibrated and harmonized and guided by grand source consciousness. So even source has its own experience of being one of many sources that are extending into infinity. And they are connected to what has been called the great creative mind, the all-knowing, all-experiencing, simultaneous fullness and nothingness. There's many names across the multiverse in many different human and extraterrestrial and multi-universal beings. Many beings are aware of this force and understand that your source, our source, because it is the same source for this particular universe, is just one of many, part of its own lineage of source incarnations, of source dreams, and that it extends all the way into a grand mind that is always extending itself. It's always creating newness because it is always expanding. It is always dreaming, and it will continue to do so because that is its nature. Its nature is to create because it is creation itself. And we are, in our own evolutionary process, understanding the dreaming thoughts of this lucid being. And we are allowing for it to telepathically send information into our networks, which we then are playing with your oversouls. And it allows for us to work hand in hand with your oversoul consciousnesses to be able to distribute, translate, activate this information across this network of light frequency that then dissipates and spreads itself into all of the different incarnations. So we are essentially translating the dreaming thoughts of the Creator on a multi-universal, multi-source-based level. We are a group that is typically not very well understood in your Earth realm. And this is because of the level of awareness we possess. It is very challenging for many human beings to actually interface with us because they must actually elevate themselves within a proximity to our density in order to even perceive this degree of information, because it is so large and big picture. Many times when beings are interfacing with us, they are actually interfacing with physicalized connections that their own oversoul has, that is as close in proximity to our level of consciousness as possible. So through that other more physical or extraterrestrial or even non-physical incarnational experience, they are able to then download our information. So many times when people are connecting with Arcturian consciousness, they are actually interfacing with an incarnation they have that is much more connected to us. But many people are beginning to understand their multi-dimensional, multi-incarnational point of view, and as people begin to embody this, they can interface with us as a star collective directly. And this will then allow for beings to improve upon the skill of past and future life reading, DNA reading, Akashic record reading. These are all skills we are assisting beings of Earth and all beings in the multiverse, because you're not the only ones who are using these skills. We are assisting all of you in being able to improve upon that so you can pull in more information. So we are speaking directly to those who consider themselves to be sixth sense practitioners, readers of energy, readers of simultaneous incarnational experiences, readers of universal messages, readers of other universal messages, those who are bringing in source-based information and wish to bring in multi-source-based information. What we are offering here is a very grand scale perspective. It is very high density. It is important that this information is grounded, for if it is not grounded, it can actually be overstimulating to some of you. If you try to interact with the star consciousness directly, it is important you build up to it over time. And it will be a very natural progression for many of you, because all you must do is access the level of higher density energy centers within you incrementally. There's many ways this can be done, but we will simplify the idea so that way you have a framework to be able to work with. Your chakra system, as it is called in your ancient languages on Earth, is analogous to, again, vortexes, spirals. And it is not just a spiral of vibration, it is photonic spiraling, it is light spiraling, and this spiraling is interwoven into different stars. So each chakra will relate to a different star. You will have different chakras that are going to be generally calibrated to certain stars within your galaxy, within your universe, but focus on the galaxy. It's a little easier. In addition to that, you will find that there are going to be certain stars that you, as a being, are personally connected with that can be accessed, and that information from those stars can then be downloaded into these chakras, into these energy centers. And you can actually, through a meditative exercise, begin to draw in energies from different stars you are connected with that are relevant to each of the different chakras. And that is a way you can actually build up your level of other incarnational understanding in a grounded way, because you're not having to leave your body, you're actually doing it in your body. And when you complete the sequence of 1 through 7, or however many you wish to work with, because again, there are different models that you will all gravitate to, and many of you will actually create your own models to be able to interface in this way. But the idea is, when you incrementally go up in density in relationship to whatever vortex or chakric center you're working with, that will be an in-body process that will eventually link you to our collective mind. And once you have that linkage available, you will have also built up a foundation in yourself where the information of other incarnations from other systems will actually be stored within your chakras, so it will actually be in body. You will be able to access it. And it is this type of energy, this subtle body energy, that is actually activating the genetic factors within you that allow for you to access these other incarnational experiences and to allow for your physiology to begin to reflect them. So once you build it in the energy body, it manifests in the physical body and it begins to crystallize as a part of you. And this is how you can access very easily aspects of your past and your future effortlessly. You can essentially channel past selves, future selves of your current lifetime, but other simultaneous lifetimes as well. Thank you so much for your attention and your dedication to your earth-based process. You are evolving in ways you cannot even begin to imagine, but understand other aspects of yourself, other incarnational experiences you have, other soul-based and over-soul-based experiences you are hyper-focused on your earth experience because of the amount of lesson learning you're going through here. So remember, your process is ultra important. You are an educational force for many aspects of yourself that's experiencing itself as other beings. So without you, there are vital lessons that would not be learned on a multi-universal level. Thank you all for coming and listening to this message from us, your grand North Star, your grand dreaming mind, your grand allies in this understanding of your multidimensional awareness. It is our pleasure to be able to play this game of rediscovery and communion. Thank you.